We're live. Hello, Internet. Oh, caller, turn on your radio. Oh, I don't even have my chats popped out here. Sheesh. Let's do that. Pop out Twitch. My kid is yelling about owls downstairs for some reason.
Ow, 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 ow.
She goes, look, it's an owl. It's like, I don't know, I don't know what you're looking at. Lately, she's taken to laying on the floor of the living room and pretending she's looking up at the clouds and naming what they are. She'll go, that cloud looks like a whale. I'm like, okay. Good imagination.
I feel like I know this number, this person calling me, but I don't remember. I feel like that's Walgreens. Why is Walgreens calling me? Well, too bad.
I want your business, Walgreens.
I don't have any. I haven't requested any prescription refills.
Yeah.
I don't know what else that could be.
Oh, speaking of, CVS called me 4 minutes ago. They keep calling me, and I keep going through like the automated thing where they're like, you need a refill. It's like, I'm not taking that medicine anymore. Please stop. And it'll say like, oh, press 2 if you want us to stop calling about this. Like, yes, please. And then a week later, they just call again.
They never do. And like Walgreens will start bugging me like 2 weeks before it needs to be refilled.
Right.
Or sometimes like a whole month because like it's a medicine the doctor told me to take once a day, and for some reason they think I need to take it twice a day, and it's
right.
It's a thing.
You ran out 2 weeks ago. What the hell? It's like, no, I'm good.
So I saw the Pokemon movie.
Oh yeah, how was it?
It was a fun, dumb movie. Like it wasn't bad, but I don't know anything about Pokemon.
Okay.
So I need one of those, like I think I said on my Letterboxd thing, I need someone to make one of those Marvel style reviews where they're like all the connections in the Pokemon movie. Like,
you need like a 30-minute video of like, all right, here in the background there's like 3 Bulbasaurs and they're the starters in whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there was one joke in it that I got, which I won't spoil. But like at the beginning, they go through all these like quick little montages, and one of them they have like an Asian kid in a red hat, but he's got like a red jacket, like it almost looks like Ash, but I'm not sure. And he's in like an arena fighting something, and I'm like, is this a famous scene from like an anime or a comic or something?
Right.
I have no idea. And like there's I don't know. I don't want to spoil anything. I know you guys have spent a lot more time with Pokemon than I have, which is to say any time at all. Like I played Pokemon Go for like a week, you know?
Right. You played it for longer than I did. I think I played it for a day and I was like, this is really great. And I never opened it again.
I don't know. I've always meant to play the games, but in my head I'm like, you can transfer your collection from game to game, so I need to start at the Game Boy one.
Right. Start moving them all the way up.
Yeah.
Yeah. The bad part about that... Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, the bad part about that is then you really quickly find out they're all kind of the same game, which is fine. Like, that's not a negative, but it's... When you play them back to back like that, it's sort of like, I'm okay.
Yeah, it's one of those games where it's just nice to play every now and then and come back to it.
Like Final Fantasy V.
Speaking of, and I'm doing a crossway with both of your comments, spoilers and Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Man, I came this close to like calling some people out on Twitter, and I was like, you know what, I'm just not going to do it. But there's some people throwing like the massivest hissy fit over Final Fantasy VII spoilers, and I'm like, that game is old enough to drink. It's iconic enough that anyone who's played any video games probably knows that particular spoiler.
If you haven't played it by this point, like, it's on every platform. Just go play it. It's $10.
But they're throwing like the biggest hissy fit on like, everyone's spoiling this for me and I can't enjoy it now. And I'm like, I'm like, I'm the person who says, don't spoil things, please. But that game is, it is it is removed from that because it's so old, and I was spoiled on it 15 years ago.
Yeah,
so.
At the end of Metroid, Samus is a lady. Like, it's the same level of spoilers. Like, you just know it.
Oh my god, it's just I couldn't go along with it. I was like, there's a big difference between spoiling a game that's coming out or has been out for only a week and has never had a prior release versus a game that's been out for 21 years and is getting a remake. And
like, if you want to spoil Endgame right now, that's a dick move. You want to spoil Final Fantasy VII? We're just talking about a game. Like, that's
they could have shown Sephiroth stabbing Aerith in the trailer. I would have been like, oh, hey, that's some good graphics. That's glad they got some good reverence for that.
That's the exact spoiler, too. Yep. That's the one that there are people freaking out over. Like, everyone's spoiling it for me, and they're equating it to the same as spoiling Endgame, and it was like two different things.
To me, I always equated it to Snape kills Dumbledore. Like, everybody knows both of those things. Like, Aerith dies and Snape kills Dumbledore. Like, the two are the same. Like, everyone just knows it.
I remember when I first played Final Fantasy VII, like, I'm going around grinding, and I'm like, huh, that's weird. I already have Aerith's final weapon according to the strategy guide.
Wait a minute.
That can't mean anything. I think I'm only on disc 2 or 3.
Yeah. I'm only 50 pages into the guide. Oh, that's weird.
Why did she get her final weapon right now? That's weird.
I experienced that game in such a weird fashion because I was still like very pro PC games only back then.
Right.
And so I couldn't get it to work with Bleem well back then. So they came out with a PC version, and I played that. And I had a PC version of the strategy guide that I may still have.
Right. That game came in a cool like triangle box too.
It did. I wish I still had that box.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't know the PC boxes were going to go away back then. Like at a certain point, it just turned into, I have like 50 linear feet of PC boxes. Right. Dear God, what do I do with these things? They don't
Please, my house is falling apart.
For me, I played Final Fantasy VII. I got to going to the Land of the Ancients or whatever, and I stopped playing it because I was just like, man, I'm so bummed. I really like Tifa so much, and I'm like, and clearly this game is pairing Cloud with Aerith.
Right.
I'm done playing this game, and I shelved it, and I was just like, I don't feel like playing it because whenever I don't enjoy the main characters, I'm just like, I'm so sad for Tifa, and I just shelved it. Didn't think about it. Was in high school. You know, we were sitting at the lunch table, and like people were talking about Final Fantasy VII. I was like, yeah, I played it, but I stopped playing it because it was clearly going to end with Cloud and Aerith probably kissing somewhere,
and everyone's like
upsetting me. Oh. And they were like, how far did you get? And I was like, I don't remember. I was in like some sort of like pyramid-looking place and just stopped. Mm-hmm. And they're like, play it a little longer. And I was like,
I won't spoil it, but that reminds me of a game and a visual novel series that you and I love, Mina, where it's like, I love this main character, and it's like, play a little bit more.
Play a little bit longer.
Like an hour longer.
Oh, man.
All right, you guys ready to start this thing?
Yeah, I'm all warmed up.
Let's do it.
If we don't have a ton in the beginning, we'll just move to the second segment right away because we don't have a lot there either. So.
No problem.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of Picking Up the Pixels RPG Love. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Musum.
Hello.
And Mina.
Hi.
Let's just dive right into it. Musum, what have you been playing this past month?
Okay, well, I'll start off with my Tales of Vesperia check-in, which I barely moved a couple inches. Basically, I got in the game, like I forced myself to get in, and I think I'm a little bit burnt out on the game at the moment.
Understandably.
And I was looking around online to see, okay, is there anything I need to miss? And it's talking about all these places that I haven't been or hadn't heard of, and there's evidently a city that I can bring back to life. And
Musum, you made the cardinal sin of playing a Tales game and you looked at the FAQ and you're like, cool, I missed about 400 things, about 30 side quests, and 15 titles. Cool.
Yeah. So, like, basically what I started doing is I just started revisiting all the towns to see random cutscene things that would happen.
Right.
Yeah, the old Tales games had this thing of, like, anytime you progress forward, you actually need to go backwards a little bit and catch some stuff, which that they stopped doing that at some point. It was way less egregious about that, where it's like, no, just everything's forward progression now, but Vesperia must have still been part of that. You need to turn around after you go forward.
Yeah.
It's well, like, and you look in like the GameFAQs walkthrough, and they're like, yeah, I can't list all of the little cutscenes that you can activate by unlocking things because there's too many of them.
Right.
You just have to go back to old places, and like, they're mostly entertaining, and like most of the writing's entertaining. It's just like between going that and then between my characters constantly wanting me to have them talk to each other, it's like, I'm just going to play my phone game mostly while I'm actually playing Vesperia.
Yeah, as much as I love the skits, Vesperia I felt like had too many of them. They're all good, and they're all good character building. It's just sort of like, all right, this is the fourth one I've watched here. Like, oh my god, there's a fifth one?
Yeah.
Heaven help you when you start cooking, and that's a whole nother set of skits.
And then I went back to like the... I don't remember what the city's called, but it's a city in the sky type place. And they gave me some like ancient weapon that's like 1 of 7 or 1 of 11. And I'm like, how do I get the rest of these? And I started looking into it, and it's like, oh, you have to go here, here, and here. And I go to those places, and I'm like, they are unlocked. But I thought I was at the final dungeon. And then I guess I have to get to a certain point in that dungeon, or I get through that dungeon, and there's another one. I'm really not clear what's going on.
It's like a Persona 4 thing where it's like, it's the final dungeon. There's another one. Another one.
Yeah. So I'm at the dungeon that popped up in the middle of the ocean, which I'm assuming I'm going to get through it, and there's going to be one more. Right. And I hope anything that, like, please change who the main enemy is. Like, the current main enemy, I feel, is, like, I guess in terms of the game world, he's getting results, but I feel like he's really inept. And maybe not the... I don't know. I feel like he's a disappointing villain in a way. Like, not like it doesn't like ruin the game for me by any means like that. You know, you're mainly playing the game for the main cast, but
he's like Final Fantasy IX's Kuja. Like, he's fine, but he's not really around enough to really hate that much.
Yeah, he's just a character who barely talks, and then all of a sudden, ha ha ha, I'm evil. You know, but let's see. I barely played The Witcher, but I did play it. I loaded it up one night. I'm like, okay, let's go back in. Because last time when I'd made it into Act 5, I just started walking in one direction, got attacked by a bunch of noon wraiths, is I guess what they're called, then died. And so I basically just loaded it up, started wandering around, found like a town and then a bridge I had to fix, and loaded up on quests. And evidently there's... some weird love triangle thing with this woman who's supposed to marry this guy, but both the woman and the guy are in love with other people who are with other people, and it's like, I think I can progress the game without solving their problems, but I'm not sure. And that compulsory need to complete like all the side quests that I can in front of me is still with me. I know.
Don't do it. Just beat the game.
I know. I'm so close. Like, but. Anyway, I think I just probably need a break from games. So so today, a quick plug for a local store in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Throw House Games. They had a first 200 people in the store get a free game day.
Wow.
And I went up there, and my free game was Tekken for the PS1.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, like that's not a, like, I was worried it was all going to be like crappy sports games or something.
Right.
So I was relieved
Cars
that
tie-in game.
Yeah, I was relieved that it was something that had critical reception to it, even if it was just the disc and a sleeve. But that's okay.
Yeah.
But while I was there, I picked up a Sega CD because they had one, and I've been telling myself if they ever got one, I would just get it. And came home and played some Shining Force CD for the first time.
Yeah. There we go.
So for those that don't know, Shining Force CD is a re-release of two games that were originally on the Game Gear called Shining Force Gaiden 1 and 2. And these games take place story-wise between Shining Force 1 and Shining Force 2.
Oh, okay.
So in this game, like, you're the kids of all the people from Shining Force 1, and like the whole intro scene is like, hey, here's your, like, some of your old party, and they're all old and ruined and like ruling the kingdom. And then these guys show up and put one of them in an infinite sleep and beat him up, and then the kids show up and say, we'll take care of it, and off you go.
For a split second, it sounded like Golden Sun to me. I never played any of the Shining Force games, but you were like describing it, and I was thinking of like the later Golden Sun games where you play as like the kids of all the heroes or whatever.
Cool.
That's cool. I've always heard good things about Golden Sun. I never checked one out though. But Shining Force, right? So it plays exactly like Shining Force 1 and 2, which if you've never played one, then they play a lot like the Fire Emblems, with less of the paper, rock, scissors type combat weakness, strength stuff. But like other than that, it's still like it's on a grid. When you attack someone, it goes to like a cutscene type thing where they attack type deal. And when you reach level 18 I have not reached level 18 in this game. I assume because it's so much like the other games that once I reach level 18 to 20 or somewhere in there, I will be able to promote my class to something else.
Oh, right.
The translation on the game seems pretty poor. Like the screen greets you in all the Shining Force games has like some little kid with a book. And they're like, hey, you want to read a book? Let's read about the something or other. And this one's like, pick a book, because there's 4 books. So I picked the first one. I wish I'd written down the name, because it was like I read it and I thought, did it glitch? Do I need to reboot? Like that can't be the name. Like it was like, it may as well have said like Evil Darkness Hideout text or something like that. Like something. Right. It was so
just
weird.
Like untranslated text. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah. And honestly, after playing this game, I have no idea why this is on the Sega CD. Like, like I could have guessed that anyway. I mean, I was kind of expecting that just because, like, Game Gear ports. What are they doing?
Yeah.
But like, there is like, it looks exactly like the other two. Why didn't they just stick this thing on Genesis? Like,
right. Hoping Shining Force was gonna sell Sega CDs, I guess.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm only like 2 missions in. Like the second mission's kind of interesting because you were in a ship, then your boat got knocked ashore, and they immediately put you in a fight, and none of your guys have weapons. Oh, wow. And so you have to go and look through the rubble of the ship while guys are attacking you to grab like sticks and clubs. Like it's a little annoying, but it was also kind of like, for the time, that's kind of thinking ahead. Like how can we make this story-wise more interesting? And then after that, I immediately sold all these sticks and things that I beat the enemy up with to the weapon person in town, which is like, what a jerk move, right?
Right.
I just grabbed this branch, beat this guy with it. Now you're going to give me 10 gold.
Sucker.
I'm going to buy a sword from you. But
yeah.
So let's see. Next game I played, debatable on whether it's an RPG, but I told myself, you know what? If we've talked about Deus Ex and Mass Effect, then this counts.
Okay.
So I picked up Vampyr because you posted on Twitter, Boston, that was on sale, or Vampyr.
Yeah, unfortunately they pronounce it Vampire, but it's totally Vampyr. But that's totally an RPG.
Yeah. So I was trying to remember if you had talked about it on here before, or if I'd only heard you guys talk about it on TVGP, but
I don't recall it. I don't have a memory of it. So
yeah, I forgot about it. Whoops.
Well, I only got through the intro. I just got to the hospital. I really like. I like a lot of the potential that's in front of it. I don't know if it'll deliver on it right now, but I love it when you press your vampire senses button and the thing you see is, oh, this person in front of me is worth 6,000 excuse me, 6,000 experience.
Right. The fangs come out and you're like, yes.
So it's like the temptation is always there. Like it's like the perfect thing to tempt a player to actually being the evil vampire.
Yeah, because like especially in the beginning, if anyone hasn't played it, like 6,000 experience, like your first couple levels are maybe like 100 or 200 experience. So 6,000, you're looking at that person, you're like, that's like 10 levels, man. Oh man, it's gonna be so easy.
Oh man!
But you have that whole cool relationship chart where like, I know if I eat this person, then this person who they're married to or whatever, they're going to be super pissed. So I might miss out on some side quests or dialogue or a relationship with another person. That whole thing.
Yeah, I predict that I'm really going to enjoy this game, and we're going to have trouble finishing it because of that very thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be like, I really want to eat this person, but I'm afraid of missing out on this. And
right.
Let me do my internet research, and I don't like the answers they told me. They're both bad.
I feel like that's a much easier choice, or at least it was for me when they came out with the easy difficulty. Because, like, all right, now combat is stupid easy, so I never have to worry about eating anybody because I really didn't want to. But there was always that temptation on normal mode because the battles were like just a little too hard, and I was like, well, you can't really grind, and the combat's not great, so it's not like you can use strategy or anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been blowing vampire smoke bombs at people.
Yeah,
that's where the combat's definitely not great, but it hasn't like made me throw a controller across the room yet.
Yeah.
But I started on normal. I almost did easy, and I thought, well, like I kind of want the experience thing there. So,
right.
But it's like that chart seems really cool, and it seems like something I'm going to want to try and like 100% on it.
Yeah.
And I'm also have hopes in that How Long to Beat says that you can complete the whole game and get everything extra in like 27 hours or something like that.
Oh, that's not bad.
And that sounds highly appealing after, trying to play Witcher and Tales.
Right.
But anyway, it seems like a cool game. The last game I played has taken over my life. I blame you, Mina.
Oh no.
This is Epic 7.
Yay! It's a mobile game.
It is a mobile game that like feels the least like a mobile game out of any mobile game I've played.
I kind of explained it that it has like elements that makes it kind of feel like Diablo, and like the way that like you kind of have like loot progression, and it's less about it's less about characters, because characters are nice, but you can make a lot of things work in this game. So it's not all about like, did you get good luck in the gacha? Good luck in the gacha just kind of gets you like the shiny foil cards of like the game, not really the forward progression of beating things in the game, because you can make a lot work.
Yeah, like I'm getting to a point where I got to figure out my team a little bit better. Like I feel like Ross Sinclair is not cutting it for me anymore, and I don't know what to do about it. Like, is he?
We could really talk about what you have, and I could help you out quite a bit. There are a lot of really good like new characters that immediately get you fast progression really fast. Like one of the 3-star heroes that's really good for a lot of early beginners is Kiris. She's an elf girl, 3-star unit.
I just got her like a night or two ago because she's like is she a thief or an archer or something? Okay.
Archer. And what she has is like her so every unit has like 3 abilities. Sometimes one of them's a passive, but her first ability poisons. So it did so she just like fires a poison shot. Her second ability basically extends debuffs on the enemy, like all enemies on the field, AoE extension of debuffs. And then her third ability basically improves her first or second ability. So what you do is when you use her, you improve her S1 or her first skill, and basically turn that 1 poison arrow into 3 poison arrows. And poison is scaled off of your enemy's HP and not any other damage besides that. That's how poison works. So on really healthy enemies, when you have Cyrus and you fire off the 3 poison shots onto something, you get poison stacks on the enemy, and if you have other debuffs that you're dropping on the enemy, then you have her extend those debuffs further, and then you can just kind of like whittle the enemy down with basically no real damage on your team except the fact that her poison is killing them because of their HP being so high.
That's
so
awesome.
She is like a really good low-level unit that requires the tiniest bit of investment, and you can get like big rewards out of her. But then again, like it has to be on like enemies with a lot of health that she's doing all that devastating damage to. Really good unit.
Like where I'm at right now is I think I'm at the final fight in chapter 9 or whatever it is. It might not be.
Oh, I know who you're up against.
Like
Water
it's a
unit.
it might be. I don't remember who it was. I just remember getting there and I tried it like a couple times and I'm like I'm not prepared for this. I need to figure out how to level something else more.
So there are a couple ways to get through a lot of these a lot of those walled fights. One is by leveling a unit that's appropriate for it, and 2, borrow a friend and just have them beat the the nonsense for you. So I could add you, and you could just plow through it with one of my units, or like Cyrus would help you there because it is a water unit that you're up against, and that does work. I believe that particular fight, you need to make sure you take out her cronies, though, because they become a massive pain. Like, a lot of the times you might have been able to just kind of ignore, like, the enemies on the side, but I believe she comes along with 2 mage friends, and they do crazy go-nuts damage that you don't want to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like, okay. Well, and I've been preparing for this podcast because it's like my list of notes on this are questions I'm going to ask Mina on the air. So like my main team right now is except I didn't write down their names. Like I'm still using Ross. I have him in the front position. I got the I can't remember her name. The purple spear lady that you unlock with your relationships. She's like blonde.
Oh, Lorena.
Yeah. And she seems to just do massive damage.
She is a very one-dimensional unit, all about doing a ton of damage, just dumping tons of damage. She's one of the, because you get 2 MLs that are unique, or moonlights, or light darks, or whatever we want to call them. You have her and Elson. She's the dark unit that you can get for free. And her investment, like if you invest well into her, she's really good. But she does require a lot of investment, and she's pretty much all about just dumping damage, and that's it. So she doesn't have like a lot of specialty to her kit.
Okay. Well, and then my other, who is it? I got a ranger whose name I also don't remember, but she's the blonde elf ranger who's in the story who hates you at first. Huh?
Is it Silk?
No, she's not. This was one of my pulls at the beginning. She's like a 4 or 5-star unit. Iseria? Yes.
You have a 5-star. Okay, so that's Iseria. She is a wood archer, wood ranger.
Yeah, and honestly, like through half the game I was using her wrong, and then I read a thing where they're like, yeah, you really should just be using her to recharge other people's abilities. So now I just have her recharging Lorena all the time. Like the part I'm really
do right now, yeah.
The part I feel like I'm really getting kind of screwed on is I don't have a good. Well, let me think. My healer right now is Aether, and I feel like Aether's maybe not as good as that character could be healing wise. But I did just get Hazel. Is that her name? The glasses.
Hazel, yeah. The fire healer.
Yeah, and I don't have her up yet, but I feel like some people really like her, but I'm not.
You can do a specialty change with some of these units that you've brought up. Hazel is one of the ones that can go through a specialty change. And what specialty changes are specifically only for 3-star units. And it basically gives them, like, it powers them up quite a bit. And it's like, I'm trying to think of, like, the equivalent here to, like, something else. Like, when you look at a 5-star, they've just got, like, all the stuff with them. They're ready to go. some of them need more investments to be as good as some others, but like a 5-star just comes as like a complete full packaged unit. So the thing is like in the case of Hazel by herself is okay, but you have to like dump runes into her and you dump all sorts of stuff into her, and basically you power up to being a pretty good healer. I definitely say better than Aether, though there are people who use Aether quite well in certain content. But I would definitely say Hazel over Aether.
Okay, so I'll keep working on her. This game I struggle a lot with the inventory and what to get rid of and what to keep.
Yeah.
I wish it was not as tight like all the time. I've started sacrificing blue equipment now. I figured that would happen, but like monsters, like are they just for leveling up? I guess for the audience. To level up stars on characters, you have to sacrifice units of I think it's the same star that they're presently are. So like to get a 3-star to a 4-star, you have to sacrifice 3 stars.
Yes.
And to get a 4-star to a 5-star, you have to sacrifice 4 stars.
Yep.
Makes sense.
So the one of the units you get
monsters you're talking about, their only purpose is to feed. That is it.
No reason to save any of them then necessarily.
No. Though I do have someone in my guild who has built those 2 stars up to 6 stars. And boy, does he get some people sometimes when they come after him thinking that they're like, oh, look at this guy with his dumb 2-star units leveled up to 6-star, and then they get rolled and they're like, I just got rolled by somebody using 2-star units. So that's always fun. But no, their main purpose is fodder. The only difference between those 2-star junk units that we're discussing and the phantasmas, the silver wolves and the gold wolves and the terra wolves, the black ones. The difference between those are those get like a bump to XP. The wolves, the terra wolves and the giga wolves and whatever, they get a bump to XP. So having them in your grinding, leveling, whatever party or whatever, they get more XP out of them. So it's kind of better to use those to work your way up to the, using them as the 3-star, 4-star, 5-star fodder or whatever. They work better because you can level them faster.
Gotcha. Well, and that's what I've been doing is because you can breed them. So I've been raising those and then immediately leveling them up to 3 stars and then getting that 3-star leveled up so I can make them a 4-star has been difficult.
How it works.
What else was I going to ask you about? Do tanks matter at all in this game? Like I've got a few tank units. Like one of them was a cool 4-star, like Valkyrie looking lady.
Rose.
Yeah, and but she seems like her skills are all about making her take damage for everyone, and then she dies really easy.
So, when it comes to talking about tanks, I found that healers actually make some of the best tanks in the game. Because a lot of healers might have something that says their heals scale off of HP. So if you give them a lot of HP and some defense gear or whatever, they become these giant tanking walls that are also healing at the same time. So I found a lot of use out of using healers rather than tanks. Tanks do hold a place, but it's kind of what are you how you build them. One of the tanks that I have, a 5-star, his name is Kral. I've built him up for HP and defense and a little bit of speed. And the way he works is once you get his health down into a dangerously low position, he turns around and basically does all of his HP that he's missing to any enemy, unmitigated damage. You cannot stop that amount. You cannot lower that amount. He does that flat number to the enemy, regardless of element. and he just dumps it on somebody. So if you build him up, like let's say you manage to get like 20,000 HP on him, right? And then you get him as low as like maybe like he loses 16,000 of his health, and then you just do directly 16,000 to another enemy. So like
Gotcha.
it really depends on how you build some of them, but I find like in the case of Roz, the real reason why Roz is really nice is his S2. If he did not have his S2, he would not be a very good unit, in my opinion. His S2 automatically tells someone who has the highest attack on your team to, hey, come along and, follow up the attack with me. So if you have like somebody who's really strong on your team who does a lot of damage, then Roz can be like, hey, come along, Lorena, do your S1 with me. So that's kind of how you use him. He's not that great at tanking, but when we discuss like just the pairing of DPS, he works really nice as a companion.
It never occurred to me that that's like I've been reading my character skills. I have not been reading his.
Oh, yeah. So that S2, and the way Lorena works is every time she hits with her S1, she gets a stack of damage that can never be removed. So like she builds up to 5 stacks and she's doing a lot of damage. So when she's paired up with like Roz, so he does the, hey, come along, basically the S2, that builds up 1 stack. So then you get her up to 2 stacks, and then 3, 4, 5, and once you cap out at 5, you're doing the maximum damage that she can do, which should be a lot because you build her for straight damage.
Yeah, like her level 3 skill, like later on in a fight, like usually like halves the boss's HP.
Yeah, that move is really nice because it also pushes back the their turn as well.
I didn't realize that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
like
she pushes back some turn and also does a lot of damage. Once she also has a specialty upgrade, by the way.
I just unlocked it. In terms of it's an option now, but like the things I got to do to get it will probably be next year.
Right. Make sure you activate it though. That's the most important thing, is to activate it, because it doesn't start counting any of that stuff until you activate it. And it is a long process to get it, done. But I kind of think of it as like just leave it up and not worry about it, because you'll slowly get there anyways.
Gotcha.
But it's really nice because you basically power up that unit in a big, big, big way. I believe at some point, like somewhere on that chain, if she kills something with her S3, she has a chance to get her S3 back again. And
that would be sweet. Like she already gets like a. Oh wait, no, that is her S3, because her S3 she hits it and then she immediately gets to go again.
Yeah.
And then I haven't gotten that thing. So combat readiness. What is it? I seem to have my team equipped for it. Oh,
that's the turn pushing. So if you have combat readiness that's like, for you, combat readiness pushes your turns faster. Combat readiness against somebody else is pushing them away from having their turn order. Like there's a little bar, because Boston has no idea what we're talking about. There's a little bar with everybody's little faces on like when their turn's coming around. But it's not exact because it's based on just like, okay, this is where they are on the bar. But if they have like faster speed, like let's say I have a unit that has 200 speed versus a unit that has like, I don't know, let's go real low, 70 speed. That 200 speed unit is just gonna, like, even if they're up here at the very top of the bar, they're going to like speed down that bar real fast and jump turns, which is why you might feel like somebody's going really, really, really fast and beating you to the punch all the time. They probably have a very high speed unit, and that's why they're lapping you.
Gotcha.
So
cool. Yeah, I don't know. I've been trying to learn it all, but man, there's a lot of systems. It's a complicated game, and like I'm losing a lot of time lately just to my inventory stuff. So I've accepted that I'm just going to have to be spending most of the Sky Stones, I think is what they're called, on expanding my inventories for the moment. just because I don't like. I went through and unequipped everything except for the stuff on my main party and tried to get rid of all my green and brown equipment stuff. So now I'm just down to blues, purples, and reds. And now I'm slowly like, I don't quite have enough purples that I can get rid of all my blues, but I'm getting there. I assume you're probably like pure red for everything.
So it's interesting because like in some ways having like a lower tier gear is kind of beneficial in a way. Like if you there are flat stats in the game and then there's percentage stats in the game. So the way that upgrading gear is every +3 that you have on a gear, you get a roll into one of those stats on the equipment. So if you have like, let's say a red piece of gear or an epic gear as it's called, the epic gear has already the 4 stats that can, have points into. So technically red gear has like the higher stats at the start. But let's say you have like a red piece of gear that has like 2 percentages and 2 flats. Then you're running like a 50-50 that you're going to get something to roll into that flat or something into your percentages. Now, if you have like, let's say, I don't know, like maybe a blue piece of gear or a purple piece of gear, then until you reach a certain threshold of the pluses, so like I believe the blue gear is like after +6, maybe +6? After +9, thank you. After +9, it will add your 3rd stat and your 4th stat. So let's say you have a blue piece of gear that has 2 percentages in. Well, then you have 100% chance of something going into those percentage stats. And if you really like those percentage stats, then you get points into those stats directly, and you don't have to run the risk of like, I have this really nice red piece of gear, but it has 2 flat stats, and then you upgrade that gear all the way, and everything went into flat, and you're just like, well, this gear that was really good at the start now looks really bad.
So, like for your tank guy, like if you had a blue gear with percentage just for health and defense, like that's all you'd need for him. That'd be exactly what you wanted. Okay.
Yeah. And then like, I mean, you run the risk of like, getting some flats at the end, but you've guaranteed that points were going to be poured into those early percentages. So in a way, the blue gear or, could be like potentially better, or the purple gear. I actually really like purple gear because the odds of you getting an epic gear that has like 4 stats that you want and then just getting really lucky that everything goes into the stats you want, that's like a lot of RNG to juggle. Whereas if you have like basically like a purple gear with 3 percentage stats or 2 percentage stats and maybe like speed flat, because speed can only be flat. If you have something like that, that's only 3 things you're fighting for, and that like you really want them into one of those 3, you have a higher chance of getting what you want more. So I think the purple gear, in my opinion, is actually some of the best gear you can get.
Gotcha. Good. Okay. Well, I'll spare everyone else from asking you more questions. Thank you so much for the tutelage. It's what I needed.
The game has a lot of systems. It's a lot of fun though, and it is like one of those mobile games that I've like. You can complain about a lot of different mobile games for a lot of different reasons, but I think even with my complaints that I have on Epic 7, it's the one that I have the most fun with right now. So, yeah.
I mean, like it has dungeons in it that you can get through fairly quickly, and you generally aren't surprised by a dungeon. You know if you're going to go into one or not. Like it has kind of anime cutscenes occasionally. A lot of the like artwork's pretty high grade, although it's definitely into the pervy side of the women a lot. But
yeah. Thankfully, they also kind of give you some guys too, so there's a little bit of equal opportunity.
It's like one of the websites I went to and I was reading something on. I'm like, okay, let's see what else they have on here. Let's see. There's weapons. There's promotions. There's this. There's waifus. What? So waifus, whatever they're called. I don't know.
Yeah.
What the anime kids say. But it's just a really high quality game that I like a lot. Right now they're doing that Guilty Gear crossover. Yeah. So I got Saul from it, like, and that was
no.
He's actually legit. I mean, it's going to be a pain for you to farm all of his stuff, but if you manage to farm him completely, you can use all of his spares as fodder for himself to get him to 6-star. So he's actually a really, really good unit.
well, and I've only gotten one of Saul. I do not know that I'm going to get these others from the event.
That's fine. Getting at least one. He is a really good unit, though. Just looking at his kit.
Yeah, like he seems cool. And it would be nice to get like all the others, but like I'm pretty sure I could do the fights on them, but like to get that one, like, because at the time, like when this event started, I'm like, just okay, cool. Here's the path. I'm just gonna grind this, and I did it all day because I could only clear the easy version of that one mission.
Yeah.
That only gave you like 9 of the currency, and you needed like 1,000 of the currency to get them.
So much.
And I got it, and now like I think I might get a second one of him in that I think I might be able to complete that tournament maybe, like, because now I can complete the normal version of these missions.
Yeah.
But all the other stuff, I don't know that I have any hope for. Like, and that was a lot of work just to do that, and I don't think I can.
I believe, like, at the end of the event, like, if you manage to just walk through all of the story, you get another soul for free. Like, once we get to the final week of this this event.
Oh, nice.
So you're definitely going to get that one.
Okay.
Just by walking through the story.
Cool. That I will absolutely do. So, but it's I don't know. I really like this. Like, it feels like when I played like Strike Force or Brave Exvius, I still feel like I'm playing a phone game, like, to a large degree. And when I played this one, I feel less like I'm wasting my time and more like I'm in this cool immersive place. Like, there are definitely plenty of things to criticize. I'm really not fond of trying to get to a particular region in the game.
Yeah.
Because you have to just walk through all the other regions to get there. But
you haven't done the little button that kind of backs you out on the map?
there's
a button that kind of backs the map out a little bit.
like all the like.
And then you can see all the areas that you can click from, like, the map.
Oh, I guess that would be great. Well, good.
Yeah, it's. I believe it's on the top. Well, not maybe at the very top left, but it's on the left-hand side. There will be like a little arrow that if you click on, it kind of like backs out the map, and then you can kind of click which chapter you want to go to.
I will look for that. That would have been like when I was grinding for Hazel and Silk, who both have like kill 500 of this enemy type missions. That would have been nice. Because that was a real pain, like figuring out where. Like, I looked online. I think Silk was the one where they're like, "Yeah, you got to go to region, whatever the region with the 5th chapter of the story is, and fight bugs and stuff." And figuring out my way back there was difficult. But anyway, yeah, I really like that game. So that is.
What have you been playing this past month?
So let me start with what I played like super recently, like yesterday, because I haven't been feeling well, and I saw this game, and it reminded me of another game that Boston likes, hopefully, and I was like, I'm going to play it, and so it's called Swag and Sorcery.
Okay.
What a name. So how do I describe this game? It's somewhat like a Kairosoft game that was about like taking care of a little RPG village and sending your little RPG, heroes off into the battlefield to do stuff, and then you kind of improve your town. What's the name? What was the name of that Kairosoft game? It was
Dungeon Village.
Something. Yeah, Dungeon Village.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It was like
definitely...
Dungeon Village and like Monster Island. Those were like the two. The two that were similar.
I believe it was the Dungeon Village one that I'm thinking of. But it's kind of like that. Like, it's not a 1-for-1 copy, and it's on it's on PC, it's on Steam. It's where I got it. It might be on other things. I don't know. But so it's definitely one of those games that, you know, it's playing itself. It has like the little dudes going out into the field and the side scroll of watching them like traverse their little dungeon thing. It has a silly story going along with it. I don't know how to describe it. It's fun.
It looks like it's pretty lighthearted. I'm watching the
like,
trailer here.
It's adorable. I like it, and it really scratches that itch that if you liked that sort of Kairosoft game, it really fulfills that need. It's cute. I like it.
This looks fun.
So, and it's not that expensive. It's fairly cheap, if I remember correctly. I think it might be on
sale right now for $9.75.
Yeah, I'd pay that again.
Yeah. That's cool. That looks neat.
Yeah, so I mean, give it a shot if you like, you know, Kairosoft games and kind of want something just maybe a little bit more than that. It's right there. So the next thing that I played recently is Ace Attorney Investigations, Miles Edgeworth. Big old title. It is a point and click kind of. It's not even a point and click. Like, I don't know. It's like you walk around and investigate with maybe the A button. It's like a step away from being a point and click, I suppose. I mean, you do like look at like, I don't know, like dead bodies and then kind of click on what you want to investigate. But it's Ace Attorney. It's Miles Edgeworth.
Yeah.
It's
like
great.
A puzzle visual novel sort of thing.
Yeah, it's great. I like it. And like what's weird is like you're so used to like maybe if you played like Phoenix Wright games, you're just kind of like, you know, that you're just doing like screen panning and like that one's more of a traditional point and click. This one you actually move him around on the screen, like he actually walks on the screen.
Ooh.
And then you like actually walk up to stuff and investigate. And the first case, which true to form of like the series, where they always give you they tell you right away, like this is the bad guy, like this dude's bad.
His name is Dr. Evilman.
Like, I believe it was Jockstrap. Right. but his name was Jocks.
Right, like Jock.
Yeah, and then you combine it next together and it's Jockstrap, and he's got like an Olympic medal, and like his hair's got like he's got like the band on his head, and it's just like this is the bad guy.
I love these games.
So the names are always good. What a first case, you know, because it like what I really liked about this one compared to like some of the other cases that I've played from the Phoenix Wright series is like a lot of those cases. You feel like the first case is very much of a tutorial kind of throwaway case that's just kind of like, we're just going to teach you the mechanics so that way when we get to the real meat of the story, you know, you're going to be like, oh, I know how to do this, and you're less of like a new player bumbling around in it. In this case, and I don't feel bad about spoiling it because the game is pretty forthright in like what happens. The case sets up like two mysteries kind of at the same time, resolves one, but doesn't resolve like one that feels quite bigger than the case you solve. So what's really interesting is it doesn't put it doesn't solve it at all. It's just kind of like it ends that first case with like, you know, that moment of like that mystery that wasn't solved. It would, you know, carry on throughout the rest of the, you know, the next following days.
Right.
And then you get like this sort of feeling of like, oh, this first case is actually pretty important for the rest of the game.
That's
so it's
cool.
it's not a throwaway case at all, and it's quite interesting what happens. So I know this is an older game, but I never played it, so
yeah.
when I've finally gone to it, and it's really good. The second case, and I won't spoil this one. The second case that I started is pretty interesting in its own way because it brings up a lot of the stuff from the other Phoenix Wright games, like about Miles Edgeworth. So if you're really invested in his story and like about him, it kind of like does a bunch of nods to like the lore of Miles Edgeworth, and so that's really nice that we're getting through. I haven't beaten the second case, but I'm already super into this game, and I really am glad that I'm playing this.
Yeah.
And then the third game that I played, I don't want to say too much about what happened because I feel like that's too much. Like I don't like. I want people to play this game. So VIII. I don't know how far you got into it, so I don't know like what I can say. But like, so the game has been like pretty much this whole like find person, bring them back, find another person, bring them back. Like you're basically collecting all the survivors on this island. And then like I just reached the point in the game where it's like okay, that thing that you've been doing this entire time, put a pause on that. Because we're gonna stop that, and now we're gonna do for something completely different.
Yep.
And it's like you aren't allowed to go continue anything. It's like, no, this is the most important thing. Like, and you would agree that this is the most important thing happening, but it's and wow, the way it ends.
Which chapter are you on?
I don't remember what chapter it is.
Like, so did you just get to, like, did you just encounter this section?
I just wrapped up this section.
Okay.
I just wrapped it up. I now have a little girl in the village now, or whatever we're calling it.
Okay. I think that puts you in chapter 4 or finishing chapter 4 or something like that. Okay. I don't remember how that first section ends. So, but anyway, I'll stop talking.
It's what a good game. I'm playing a lot of really good games right now.
Yeah.
This is one of them. So, I don't know how to like I believe we're now back on track with the normal gameplay again. We're going back to the normal stuff, but like that like interlude of not whatever we were doing was like pretty crazy. And I would never spoil that for anybody who was interested in this game. You need like go and play this game. It is really good. I've tried some of the Yeast games in the past. I couldn't really stick to any of them. Like I'd get maybe like an hour or two in, and then I just kind of fall off of it. But this one feels like one that a lot of people could get into, and a lot of people could finish and have a good time with, unless it really changes at the end. But I'm hoping that it sticks this pattern all the way through.
If you are all right with that section that happened, then you will love the game.
Okay, I am okay with it.
If you're not, like for me, it was like I was really excited about where I was getting with the village, and then I was like, I want to go. No, I want to do my village. So, but
maybe we're talking about two different things.
Are we? Okay.
Might be. This was a huge moment in the storyline plot, and it altered everything in.
Oh, this is
the thing that I really don't want to spoil.
Yeah. Okay.
It really.
I really need to be quiet right now. Yeah, that was an awesome, crazy moment.
Yeah, I did get like a new villager joined at the end of it, but
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I was thinking about something else. I think I don't remember what chapter that happens in, but I'm assuming you haven't got to the thing I'm talking about yet. So.
Probably not.
Okay.
This section, I don't think they could replay the same thing that happened in this section again. I don't think it would have the same impact.
I don't think so.
If it did, I'd be like, wow, this game really.
I forgot about. Yeah, that was a freaking crazy thing that happened. I agree. That was awesome.
Good. It's good. Game's good. I like it. But that honestly, I think that's all I've really played. So what about you, Boston?
I have not played anything of note this month. It's a lot of Division 2 and a lot of Destiny 2, but both of those are kind of in the same spot they've been for a while. I'm super deep into Destiny 2 still, and I'm not very deep in Division 2, mostly because I'm deep into Destiny 2. So, kind of can't fit both of those in my life. But Division 2 is still really good, but I'm nowhere near the end game in that, which seems really great, and people seem to really like it. But I got Destiny 2, and we got another piece of DLC in less than a month, so, I got to get through this DLC first. So, grinding and grinding. But let's talk about releases for the month of May 2019. Yakuza Kiwami 2 is out on PC now, came out on the 9th, and that seems like it's about it. So...
Oh no, what is...
Yeah, sort of seems like kind of a quiet RPG month, but a good month to catch up on games like Ys 8. Let's move on to news stories. First up here, Monster Hunter World Iceborne has been announced, and I'm hoping Mina knows far more about this than I do.
I don't, but
Okay.
I've heard of it, but I haven't actually looked into it too much because I'm actually gearing up for Final Fantasy 14's
Right.
expansion.
Yeah, it primarily seems to be their first large expansion. For consoles, they're going to be bundling this and the base game together. So I mean, it's that level of expansion pack. Coming out for PS4 and Xbox One, and I think the PC release is the same. I don't know. On September 6th. Oh, sorry. PC release will follow sometime in the winter, which is a bummer. I guess new higher difficulty Master Rank quests, which take place of G Rank quests. There's a Wyvern Banbaro, and returning monster Nargacuga.
Nargacuga!
Okay.
There are people who love that guy. I hate him.
Okay,
But
well,
people love him.
yeah, it looks cool. I mean, it looks like Monster Hunter World Ice version. It looks pretty great. Speaking of what else looks pretty great, Sony showed off more of the Final Fantasy VII remake. I think we got a trailer that was maybe a minute long, nothing super long, but boy, does that game look real good.
Can't wait to play it in 5 to 10 years.
yeah. What I'm surprised about. So, for anyone that doesn't remember, CyberConnect was developing this originally. Something happened, and Square Enix has pulled it back in house. And the rumor was that they restarted development, but who knows? They're still saying it's going to be episodic, which is surprising because they're only showing. As Optimus Servo in chat says, it covers the first 15 minutes of the game, though. It shows very much like the Mako reactor attack, and that's kind of it. But it looks cool. The battle, you got a little bit of a peek of the battle system, which looks sort of maybe like Final Fantasy 15-ish, with moving around and attacking stuff, and it's not staying in a place turn-based, which we'll see how that goes. Could be good, but man, graphically that game looks hot. So we will. I think it's coming. I think it's still coming out on PS4 and Xbox One, but I don't entirely know for sure. So
I don't know. They said they were going to talk more about it in June, and I think the statement I read something like, "You'll find out more in a month in June and on our schedule to release."
So we'll get to see the same trailer again
right
in June.
with a date at the end.
I'm sorry.
I mean, they have E3 next month, so I'm assuming if there's any time to release a release date for the first episode, if there is one in the pipe, that's probably the best time for that to happen.
I just try to temper my expectations for that game, because otherwise I'll be constantly disappointed.
Well, especially with them putting out an episodic, I think my expectation is probably the first episode is Midgar and the escape, and then maybe, if we're lucky, a little bit of the open world stuff, but not much.
I'm I know some people are fine with it. I'll just wait until it's all done because
buy a PS5, get the complete collection.
I cannot stand the whole idea of like playing the game and then having to stop and wait because I would yank my hair out.
Well, especially for a game we've played before, you know.
Yeah.
What if, because Square's interested in diving as deep into our pockets as they can, they release special collector's editions for each episode.
I don't know if even I could follow that rabbit hole. I could buy a collector's edition of like the complete thing, but
a complete one, yeah.
Like, what if each one comes with like a statue?
Oh,
of a
I know
different
that's
character
exactly
of your party.
Statues don't get me. Steelbooks get me. Like you put like a steelbook with a hologram on front, and like the spines. When you line them all up, it has a Final Fantasy VII logo, and then I'll be like, "Oh no, my wallet."
What if it's like like how whenever you're getting a book series and you get the first book and it comes with like the big cardboard thing to put all the other books in?
How they used to do with anime DVDs.
Yeah. What if they do that with?
That might get me.
This release.
I'm a sucker for dumb packaging.
I'm too poor for this. I will wait.
I'm also too poor for this. Maybe that's why I'm playing a lot of Destiny 2. I've already paid for that. Next news story, Persona 5 The Royal, finally, mostly formally announced. Atlas has been teasing this for about the last 2.5 years. Coming out on PS4, October 31st in Japan, early 2020 for the West. Big part seems to be a new region of Tokyo to explore, a region of Tokyo I'm not going to dare to try to pronounce, a new companion, so they'll join the Phantom Thieves, and there's like some new NPCs in school and stuff like that, and they will finally explore the third semester. That was sort of cut out from Persona 5 for spoilery story reasons that we definitely won't get into here, but...
And the most important part to me...
What's that?
Female main character option.
That's not a thing.
I thought they brought it up in an interview. Did they cancel that?
That's the new
oh, no.
lady. Yeah, that's the new thief. Because that was my excitement was like, this lady,
thought they talked about both.
Oh, did they?
They said both, based on what I read, that because they talked about how there was going to be a new female main character, and then people were like, is it that one? And they were like, no, she's the companion, but there's going to be a main character.
I got confused. See, that it would be really great if Atlas would take some of these websites and interviews and stuff that's going on in Japan and translate them and bring them out here, because there has been confusion between, is this new lady you announced the main character? And they're like, well, no, they joined the Phantom Thieves. And that's the end of what I heard. But if you're saying that there's another main character option...
So,
the interview I saw talked about there being a female main character, and then it also said, who is not the one that we've seen, is what they've made sure to emphasize. But I don't know if that's changed. But
so there's a Polygon article titled "Persona 5 Director Gives Disappointing Reason for Passing on Female Lead."
Oh, okay. So they did change. Yeah. Okay. So then the first one that I heard was like... So I'm guessing the first interview or whatever must have been a mistranslation.
Probably. And that's the biggest bummer with this stuff is like... They gotta be better about this stuff. You know, see Catherine Full Body's controversy. If you could address this stuff...
for Steam?
No, Catherine Full Body, the remake.
Yeah, but there were people mad that it wasn't ever coming to Steam, but they released the
classic version.
The classic version to Steam, but they're not bringing the Full Body one.
Yeah, Full Body's controversy is a spoiler and potentially terrible, but it's not out here in the West yet, so we're not entirely sure of the full context, but we won't get into it. But Persona 5 The Royals seems interesting. Musum shared an article on Twitter a couple days ago. Again, a translation error was sort of like, if you have a save, like you can just skip to the new stuff. And now Atlas is saying like, no man, if you have a save, like you get special gifts, but we really want you to play the entire experience, including the new stuff all over again. I was like, I'm not sure I can, man.
Yeah.
That's 150 hours.
And that insinuates that this is going to be this is not going to be DLC for Persona 5. This is going to be a new $60 title, is what that insinuates to me.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that based on like Persona 4 Golden, but Atlas is going to milk Persona as much as they can.
So it's like 3 Infests, basically.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Straight up, if they want to release a $60 DLC, like I would actually still do that. Like,
right.
The difference, like Fest was great, Gold was great. Like, there's no reason for me not to believe that this won't be great in its own way. But like, they're on the same platform. Like Persona 4 originally released on Persona 2. Like, yes, I mean they could have orchestrated it to where you could have transferred your save game there through a series of flips and such. But like, here's another PS4 version of Persona 5. You can't use your old save file.
Like
and
2
give
years
us new
later.
money. And they're probably going to say on top of that, okay, you can buy the base game for $60 or the extra special game for $150.
Right.
And I don't know. Like over the years, I've really like that's been kind of the last series where I just buy everything Shin Megami Tensei that comes out stateside, whether it's good or bad or whatever. I just buy it, find out whether I'm going to play it, and this may be my breaking point. Like I guess I'll see what the price point is. I'll see what they actually do, and what the real situation is. But to me, this looks like them doing ancient freaking techniques from prior days, and they need to update their thinking to what modern games are doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'd almost rather not play Persona 5 again unless it comes out and it's like it's twice the game it was before and it's like radically improved. I'd rather save my time and money until SMT5, which I know is very far down the road, but I played Persona 5. I platinumed it. Like, I'm good. I don't need to, unless it's radically different. I don't think I'll be picking it up.
I mean, I know there will be multiple new tarot card people. What are they called? Commandants.
Yeah.
Confidants.
They're S-links.
Yeah.
I don't know. I bet it'll be cool. I'm just irritated. I'm sure I will get over it, and I'm sure I'll be one of the suckers that buys the stupid $100 version. But like, it's still
I will buy the collector's edition for it, but I'm 100% going to buy the game. There's no way I won't.
Unless it comes with a plush Morgana, and then I'll buy it. That'll be where they get me.
The last one did.
Yeah, I already have a plush Morgana. Yeah. It's like a keychain one. I got a plush Morgana back there somewhere. Like a keychain one about yay big, I think.
I totally forgot about that. It's probably sitting on top of my blow-up teddy. And lastly, Atlas announced another Persona 5 game, initially titled Persona 5S, which was a real D-move troll job because everyone's like, all right, Persona 5 is finally coming to Switch. Nope, it's Persona 5 Scramble coming to PS4 and Switch. It's a Musou game, which is cool. I think that will be a cool title. You could have picked literally any other title, and people would have been probably a lot happier with that.
Yeah.
I am interested in this game, and that I like some of the Musou crossover stuff. One of the things that is weird to me is like, why is this just the Persona 5 characters? Like, when I get like, not that the Gundam Musou games are great by any means, but they have like 100 Gundams in those things, and like 60 pilots to choose from. Like why
Persona
don't you just throw all?
You could honestly put all the Personas, even the Persona 1 characters in there, and people would be like, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand what they're doing. And like, because I assume it's not like we're going to have equipable, like they're probably just going to have their main persona with them. You know, they're not going to put in the 500 demons or I'm sorry, personas, whatever they are. But I don't know. I'll probably get it.
It'll be interesting.
Like a good platform.
Yeah, as long as it runs well on Switch, that'll be pretty cool. But I don't know. It's one of those ones that comes out and it's sort of like, okay, cool. Like Persona 4 The Fighters. It's like, all right, yeah, sure. That's weird, but it'll probably be good. But that's all of our news stories this month. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at pickingupthepixels.com. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page. Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones or numbers get all the cool behind-the-scenes stuff. The $5 a month tier is the recommended one. You get everything on that one. It's only $5 a month. It's cheap, super cheap. Why don't we talk about Musim? Where can we find you out on the internet?
You can just go to my main hub for all my musical things at jbaudio.net.
And Mina, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitch or on YouTube under Mina KO Rocket.
And you can find my shows at e1m1.com. And we'll see you all next month.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks everyone for watching. Bye.